Hi, I am Dinuka here. I am going to start a 3D Max tutorial series starting with very basic tutorials. So even if you are using 3D Max today, you will be able to catch up my tutorial. I am going to start with a simple table model which I am going to model only using box shapes. So for that I am going to use 3D Max 2010. This is a bit old version, but most of the features I am going to use today will be same for previous versions as well as from later versions. So I think you will not feel any uncomfortability while following my tutorial. Okay, for the tutorial I am going to use this table which I have downloaded. Just type in the word table in Google. So I'm going to use that, and here we don't have any measurements with the table, so I'm going to assume the measurements. Here I'm going to take the length and width of the table top as maybe 1.5 meters by 1 meter. So if you are familiar with feet and inches, you may convert that easily to your units. It will be roughly around 5 feet in length and 3.4 feet in width. And the other measurements also I am going to assume as I can see. Okay, so I am going back to 3D Max. So once you open 3D Max, in the right hand side you can see this the geometry. So under the geometry and under the standard primitives you have the box. So that's the basic shape I am going to use today. So I'm going to click on box and going to draw a box shape on my perspective view. So here I am not going to draw the box according to my measurements. I'm just drawn it, and then after that I am going back to modify panel by keeping my selection or while selecting the box. Then I am going to change the length, width and height of the object. So for the length I am having the basic measurements. So if you wish, you can go to customize and unit setup, and under the metric tab, so you have centimeters. I am going to use centimeters because it will be more easier for me. Okay, so the units are changed to centimeters. Now I am going to use the length of the box as 150 and width as 100, and the thickness of the table as maybe around 3 centimeters. Okay, now we have the table top here. This is the rectangle or the box shape I am going to use as my table top. So if I'm going back to the shape again, you can see that. So under the tabletop there is another cubical shape object, and after that you have 4 legs. So in actual scenario, actually this is not a box one. So this we have only 4 sides, but the middle is empty. So once you look from the bottom side of the table, you can see that is not a box. So however I am going to start with a box, and later I can change that to the correct shape. Okay, so I am going to take this height of this object as 10 centimeters, and I'm going to assume that you have 15 centimeter margin on each side. So okay, so I am going to take a copy of this object simply by selecting the object and selecting the snap toggle and move the object by pressing shift key. So you can easily copy the object by using this one. I'm going to use the copy option. Okay. So as I mentioned, so our object is 15 centimeters smaller on each side than the tabletop. So I am going to reduce that, and I am going to keep the location for the four legs as well. So I am going to use that as 10 and this one as 15. Altogether there is 25 on each side. That means 50. So I am going to reduce 50 from each side. So that is 100 and this one will become 50. And the height I am going to change that to 10. Okay. So it came up that because I have changed the height of the object. So I am going back to either left side or the front side from my viewport, and here I am going to select 2.5, so it will not snap to the Z depth. So I am going to select that. I am going to especially use that while I am using either front, left or top viewport. So it will not help you to prevent the object going in here and there. Okay, so I am going to select the object and move. Here we don't have here vertexes, so we can't just bring this object up to here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this to 100. Okay, so this will become the same size of this one. So we have a vertex under this position, so we can easily bring the box under our previous box. So I'm going to change this again back to 50. Okay, so if I'm going to perspective, you can see that now it is nicely placed at the center of the previous box. Okay, so I'm going to box model again. I'm going to take another box. Here I draw a box, then go into parameters, and here I'm going to take the length and width of the object as 10 centimeters each, and height may be around 75. Okay, so we have one leg here. So what I am going to do is here I'm going to change this to 3 again because I am using the perspective view. I'm going to click this and bring back to the position we want. So see whether it's correct. Now we have to change it. So we can either change it in the perspective view or else we can go back to top view, which might be even easier. So because you can easily see. Okay. Now I'm going to change this snap option to 2.5 and easily move this object to the corner we want. And so we can take the copies here easily by pressing the shift key and dragging it here. Okay, so we have another copy. You can here select the both legs and take another 2 copies to the other side. Okay, so I'm going to select copy. So now we have table and 4 legs at the correct location. Okay, so the table top is there and 4 legs are there. Now I only have to change this object. So I'm going back, and here I'm going to model each side at a time. So we have 4 sides. So I'm going to change the thickness of this box. So this 50 will become 3 inches, the standard thickness I have used for the timber here. Okay. here we have. So I'm going back to top viewport, and you can see our newly created timber here. So I'm going to move that here. Okay. And I'm going to take another copy to the other side. Take a copy, and I'm going to move it here. Okay, so we have created two long sides of the tables. I mean, under the table you have seen a box, and we have created two long sides of that box, and we have two short sides remaining. So I am going to take another copy of one of these timber planks, and I'm going to change the size of that to 50 to be matched with the other side. Okay, so with the angle snap option, I am going to rotate this rectangle, or the box rather, exactly by 90 degrees. Okay, and again I am going to move it with the snap to the correct position we need, and then I am going to take another copy to the fourth place. Okay, we have created all the necessary components of the table, such as table top, 4 legs and 4 sideboards. So we have completed everything. So if you're going back to perspective view and check it out, what's the model? Yes, so you can see that the object we have created is almost same as our reference object. Okay, so if you really need to convert this object to a single piece, then you have to select one of the boxes in the table and convert that to editable poly. And under the right hand side below the editable poly, under edit geometry rulout, you can see the attach button. So you have to click that attach button, and you can select all the objects one by one, or else you can go to the small button in front of the attach button, and you can see the rest of the attachable options. So you can select them all and press attach. Okay, now you can have the object in single piece. Hope you have enjoyed my tutorial. This is a very basic tutorial, however, and in later tutorials I would like to make more advanced objects, such as if I take this table, how to add different kind of legs and how to have drawers and that kind of advanced objects in my tutorial series. Please subscribe my channel so you can have more and more tutorials in future. Hope you enjoy my tutorial. Thank you.